As we are 1 week away from the new Kabbalistic year known as Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, and the last couple of weeks, last week and the week before, we had really special classes about Rosh Hashanah with special preparation, special meditation, special workshop that we're doing. And also tonight, we're going to look at Rosh Hashanah from another angle, another point of view, with the help of the writings of Karen Berg from the book Finding the Light Through the Darkness, and from short clips from both. Tonight going to be from Monica Berg, from Karen Berg, and we're going to do some meditation and, of course, workshop and breakout room just to bring it home to our life. So we know that the Kabbalistic New Year, it's the new moon of Libra. And the Libra is the scale, which is really like judgment. And one of the names of this holiday called Rosh Hashanah is the Day of Judgment. And what are we talking about? Does God judge? What is all this judgment about? And why this, in the month of Virgo that we are doing all this preparation to clear out. So we gave the explanation a couple of weeks ago that every action that we do has a reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. For every cause, there's an effect. That's how the universe works. If I do something of a positive nature, that will come back as a blessing. I do something of a negative nature, that will come as negativity or judgment. The universe doesn't punish. There is a clear cause and effect equilibrium in this universe. And therefore, once a year, because we chose to come to this world to do the work of the Tikkun, once a year, we also ask the universe, please be accountable for us. Please bring up to the surface everything that I've created, that I've done, that based on that, I will be judged in the year to come. And that's on this day, on Rosh Hashanah, there's a permission. It says there's a permission for the negative force to bring up everything that we ever created. And it's like kind of a scale. That's why it's in the month of Libra. The universe, all mankind is being under the scale and that's what will determine how the year going to come. So what is the idea of judgment? We're going to speak about judgment versus transforming into acceptance, and how can we transform judgment? Because it says, even though there is certain negativity that I may need to experience in the year to come based on my previous action, cause and effect, the work that I do in this month of Virgo plus what I do on Rosh Hashanah can change that, can transform the judgment, we call it sweetening, purifying judgment. So how does it go? So we're going to read from the book of Karen, Finding the Light Through the Darkness, page 99. Okay, those of you that have the book, you can turn to page 99. Karen Berg is very down to earth. Again, Karen Berg was the one that opened the Kabbalah Center to the world and opened Kabbalah to the world. Thanks to Karen, we are all here. We are students of the Kabbalah Center. And thanks to Karen Berg, the world knows more about Kabbalah because the Kabbalah Center was the first organization in the world to bring Kabbalah in the masses and bring the Zohar to the world. So by connecting with Karen, we're actually connecting to the seed, to how everything started. And let's read it. So let us face it. We all judge. I read from Karen. We take a look at people and we somehow make ourselves more by making others less, right? Anybody ever judged? Right? So when we judge, we make somebody less and make ourselves more. We do this by telling ourselves they do things we would never do. Yet, if we lived the same way they do, if we went through what they went through, we might be a lot like them, right? It's very easy to look at other people, but if we were in their shoes, probably we might be like them as well. By the way, those of you that just joined for the first time, welcome. Welcome to our class. If you wish to watch the previous classes, text me, you'll get the recording of the previous classes. The problem with judgment is that it fills us up. And when we have no place, and then we have no place for love. In other words, love and judgment don't go together. When you judge somebody, you cannot love them. When you love them, you don't judge them. But you cannot have both. We get so full of ourselves, who we think we are, what we believe we are entitled to, that there's no space for others. And more importantly, there's no space for God. That's very, very powerful statement what Karen said. When we judge somebody else, for sure there's no space for others in our heart, but also there's no space for the Creator in our heart. Because if you remember, many weeks ago we discussed that where is God? God is not up there. God is amongst the people. And when I look at people, I look at God. And if I don't have room for people, I don't have room for God. So whatever there is between me and people, it's between me and God. So that's very, very powerful. And now to the point. Spiritual work, as explained by the Kabbalist, is the work of developing ourselves to become like the Creator. That's our job. Our job is to transform from what we call the desire to receive for the self alone into the desire to receive for the sake of sharing, to be like the Creator. When we behave as the light does, we actually bring light into our being. Rav Ashlag, the founder of the Kabbalah Center, explained that this understanding comes from a spiritual concept called similarity of form. Now, you have learned it, those of you that took Kabbalah 1. It's the first rule we learn in Kabbalah 1. It's called similarity of form. And we quote Rav Ashlag now from World Peace, from the book World Peace. So he said, Rav Ashlag, indeed, a closeness between spiritual bodies is a matter of similarity of form, just as love is a similarity of form and opinions, while hate is the opposite. You know, when you are close to somebody, why you are close to somebody? Because you think alike, because there's a lot of similarity between you. According to Kabbalah, similarity attracts. Opposite do not attract. In other words, what makes us close because there's something similar that put us together. Consequently, the moment you cancel the desire to receive within you, you bring your spiritual body closer to His, the Creator essence, because you are totally in the aspect of sharing with others, which is equivalent of giving pleasure to your Maker. This is the intention you want to fulfill so that you will be prepared for the ultimate purpose of creation. In other words, the whole idea of transforming what we call our selfishness desire, has nothing to do about ethics, has nothing to do about being a nice person. It's about one thing. When I do that, I transform my energy from myself into out of myself, which has nothing to do with the other person. The other person is just giving me the opportunity to be like the Creator. So Karen said, when we are in affinity with the Creator, we can connect to His essence. In other words, the reason I don't want to be selfish with something, because by doing so, I'll have more connection with the essence of the Creator. If I'll be more selfish, the one that will get hurt is me, not the other person, because then I will be not in a similarity of form to the Creator. I'll disconnect. That's what, that's the illusion we many times think, that if I'll have more, I'll be safe and the other person will not have. That's the wrong. That's the negative force telling us that. The real reason why it's not worth it to be selfish, because when I'm selfish, I'm created. There's no similarity between me and the creator, and there's no connection, and I cannot resonate in the same frequency. And there I disconnect from miracles, from blessings, from all goodness in life. God sees all of us with our imperfection, and yet continues with infinite mercy and compassion to put breath and life in us. Can you imagine? Every day we do all whatever we do, behave in a maybe selfish, judgmental way that is all about us. Nevertheless, when it comes tomorrow morning, the Creator is compassion, is giving us our soul back regardless. There's no calculation from the Creator, because the Creator is one thing, a force of fulfilling. Now, by opening up our hearts, and that's the bottom line, the last paragraph, by opening up our hearts to care rather than our minds to judge, we expand our capacity for light. Simple. The reason I want to transform judgment to care, because I want more light. I have a favorite saying, Karen says, that has been attributed to many different authors. This is an amazing quote that now Karen is about to quote. There's so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us that it is ill behooves any of us to find fault with the rest of us. So beautiful, so powerful, right? In other words, take the best person in the world, there's still something there that they need to improve. Take the worst person in the world, there's so much good in them that we don't even see. So who are we to find fault in somebody else? And again, the reason is because by doing so, it brings more light to me. I'm connecting more with the essence. I don't do favor to nobody. Compassion is not about I want to be nice to somebody. That's ethics. That's psychology. The reason I want to be compassionate, I want to care, the reason I want to transform my judgment, because it's for me to connect with the Creator, right? Which is very connected to what we spoke last week. So how is it connected to Rosh Hashanah? How all this behavior of judgment connected to Rosh Hashanah, and why it's the day of judgment? So I want to share with you what the Zohar writes about Rosh Hashanah as far as the day of judgment. Would you like to read that together with me? Yes, let's see what the Zohar says and how it's connected. In Zohar Chadash, portion Bereshit, verse 587. So, this is the Aramaic words, the letters, just by reading them, connecting with them, we awake the force of mercy that is awakened also in Rosh Hashanah on top of judgment. So it says, בראש השנה, דן כל העולם כולו, גופות בני אדם, and as I read from the Zohar, just the words, the vibration, the sounds, is awakening our soul to transform judgment to mercy. בראש השנה דן כל העולם כולו, גופות בני אדם והנשמות, ופוקד אותם, ודן אותם על כל מה שעשו כל השנה כולה. ותנא אפילו צעדיו של אדם נמנין, ובין בדין באותו היום, הדאו דכתיב, וכל צעדיי יספור. What is the Zohar telling us? He says, on Rosh Hashanah, he, who is he? The Creator, the universe, judges the whole world. What does it mean judges? Again, we just read the Creator is a force of mercy. How could it be the Creator judge? And what he judge? The bodies and souls of people. In other words, it's a day of judgment to whom? To everybody, to all mankind. Because we know Rosh Hashanah is also the day of the birth of creation. He remembers them and judges them for everything they did during the whole year. What does it mean? Everything they've done in the whole year. We have learned that even man's steps are counted and brought to justice on that day. We need to realize, and soon is going to say something very powerful. Everything we do, act, behave, think, say, interact, there is a cosmic ledger, a journal. We don't see it, but we know our actions, our thoughts, our words create angels, create powerful forces, which is all registered in the universe. So now he actually explains us 3 classes of ministering angels. Soon we're going to see who are those angels. Stand to judge on Rosh Hashanah. Some of them argue to merit favorably, and some argue guilt unfavorably. Come and see the mercy of the Holy One, blessed be He, who gives advice how to be saved from judgment. In other words, who are those angels that judge us for merit or not? Favorably or not? Whose are those angels? Not somebody out there, for sure not the Creator, but it's the angels of our own actions. Our actions create those forces that then once a year on Rosh Hashanah, those forces are now present and they actually mirror us where we are at. Is that clear? Now, the Creator himself, is it a merciful or judgmental force? It's only mercy. But the Creator says there has to be a reconciliation. How do we reconcile? And not only how do we reconcile, from the Creator point of view, the Creator wants just to give mercy. But again, we ask to be judged on our action based on the laws of tikkun and cause and effect, that, that we cannot just do whatever we want, because otherwise it's opposite to the laws of bread of shame. So how do we reconcile that? And again, let's start with ourselves, not with the world, not with other people, with other nation. Let's start with ourselves, because eventually the collective negative energy we create is what eventually bring the collective negativity in the world. In other words, when we see in the world problems and issues globally, what is the global issues? It begins from the collective. If there is a critical mass of negativity in the world, of people create negativity and judgment, eventually it builds up to a cloud of negativity that manifests as judgment in the world. And that's what we see in the world, all kind of calamities and all kind of things that happen. But it's not God, it's man action, right? We just read it last week, if you remember. Last week we just read that. So how, and that's the work of the month of Virgo and Rosh Hashanah. What can we do so we can take certain responsibility for our own action? So when we come to Rosh Hashanah, those angels, even though they're going to come with certain things, because of the change that I'm going to take upon myself now, there will be nobody to judge. And that's the power of Rosh Hashanah. That even though I'm supposed to go to something, but if I do the work in the month of Virgo and on Rosh Hashanah, then I will be a different person. And the one that will be judged, it's not even me. That's the power. That's the gift that the universe gives us. So I want to share with you a short video from Monica Berg that she explained about the idea of judgment and acceptance. Because many times we judge others, we judge ourselves. But how we transform that into judgment, to acceptance, and to realize, first of all, how we can take responsibility without the guilt. The purpose is not to feel guilty. The purpose is not to feel bad. The purpose is there's a lesson there for me that I can change and I can transform through whatever it is that I see as bad or I judge as bad. So let's see the video of Monica.
Judgment is something that rears its ugly head very often in our lives. Usually we're aware of how we judge other people. We know who we like, who we don't like, who we approve of, who we don't, how they live their lives, how we think they could do it better. But there's another judgment that occurs, and that's how we judge ourselves. We might consider, I'm good at this, or I'm a kind person, or I like the way I kind of look. But these other things that I really don't like about myself, we judge ourselves very harshly for those things, very unforgivably. And we think the solution in removing judgment is more love. And if it's judgment towards self, it's more self-love. But I want you to consider, instead of self-love, the idea of self-acceptance. Meaning that whatever you want to change only occurs when you fully accept yourself completely as you are in the middle of your process with things you don't like, so that you can elevate them, so that you can improve them. If you hate yourself while you're trying to change, you're not going to be able to change, not in the ways you want to, and not really grow. So I want to ask a question. Why is it that we desire things that we know are not good for us? That we go after things that don't make us feel good? We might love the wrong people. We might eat the wrong foods. We might display the wrong behavior. Why do we do those things? In even the most negative things that are available, there's constricted light. There's powerful, amazing light available to us. Those things are brought into our lives, for example, if we're using love, for an opportunity to be able to experience desiring something, even that's not good for us, so we know what love feels like. We're meant to elevate those experiences. So even the things that we love that are not great, it's an awakening of what love is, so we can elevate that love. Let's take the idea of fear. Why do we fear things? Why do we fear situations? Why do we fear people? Why do we fear outcomes? Because that fear is meant to awaken a fear of hurting people, or a fear of disconnecting from the Creator. So that fear is meant to be elevated. And if you even look at positive love, let's say, we love a child, we love our spouse, we love our family, even that love is meant to be elevated. So the thing that gets in the way of all of it is judgment. When Michael is speaking about really growing love for somebody that you don't really like, you have to be able to remove your judgment of them, to see their pain, to really feel their pain. And if you do, there's no way that you cannot elevate some kind of love for that person. It's impossible. But too often the way we approach life is, you are wrong, that is bad, this is good. We have different compartments for things in life. And then we're never going to become the radical that Pinchas was, because we're too busy either being wrong about things, feeling badly about things, badly about people, badly about ourselves and our behaviors, or we feel like, I don't really need to pursue this. It's good enough. I'm doing a good enough job. We're never really elevating anything. Everything that we experience, both good and bad, is meant to be elevated. If it's something negative, it's meant to be an awakening to then see where is the constricted light in that. Because there's light in every single thing. So I want us just to take a moment and really internalize that, because you can walk away from the Shabbat a completely different person. You can walk away and really look at the things that you feel have a hold over you. Again, addicted to the wrong people or the wrong behavior or the wrong foods. And then we judge ourselves that we're not good enough and therefore we can't change those things. We're a slave to that. You can elevate all of those things to what is meant to be. Find the light in those situations. For the people and for the things, and really for ourselves, because it's very hard to do the things that Michael was speaking about if you don't feel good about yourself. So it's not about more self-love. It's about self-acceptance in the hopes of elevating all of that, all of those experiences, so that you can be the Pinchas that you're meant to be. Shabbat Shalom.
Amazing. So this is, by the way, was part of the words of Monica from Shabbat Pinchas that we had a few months ago. So I hope the message is clear that everything in our life is meant to what? To be elevated. Especially the things that we don't like are meant to be elevated. Now, and we need to understand again, let's start with our life, with the thing that in our life that it's more difficult and we judge. How can we elevate that more? Because if we do that, and you do that, and they do that, and everybody start more to do that, then we create a force of elevation that then the world will be different. And then we will not see all the negativity and the thing that happening that we see in the world. So we need to understand by us taking this commitment to ourselves here together as a group, we are affecting change in the world. We are affecting change in the universe. And that's how we need to think. Because the solution on what we see out there is not right now on the physical level. It's all has to do with the energy that we create. And when we have energy of judgment, as Monica explained, and we think it's bad and we put it down, we add more bad and negativity to the world, that then the world will become more bad. But when we understand that there's something there for me to elevate and grow from, then I contribute more positivity to the world and I add more light to the world, and then the world will be in a different place than what we see it right now. That's the solution, Kabbalistically. There's no really other solution. Solution will never be on the physical level. Yes, we can make things better on the physical level, but the real solution comes from within, from the inside to outside. Always remember, in Kabbalah, there's the external and there's the internal. If you want to change something on the external, start with the internal. Change the internal, the external will change. But changing just the external will never change the internal. And as long as the internal doesn't change, the external will keep the same things again and again. So just to put in points what Monica said. So Monica mentioned, so if we want to transform from judgment to acceptance, the first step is really awareness. In other words, by recognizing when you are judging yourself or others, I need to identify where am I judging either myself or others in whatever situation. Realize what are the thoughts, the feelings that come up to you at those moments when you judge. This awareness is the first step towards change and transformation of judgment. That's number one. Number two, practice empathy. What does it mean? To shift your perspective by trying to understand others' experience. Remember, like what Karen said, it's easy to judge somebody else, but if you are in their shoes, probably you would behave the same. Try to be in the shoe of somebody else. Consider their struggles and their circumstance to remind yourself that we all share imperfections and challenges. Nobody here is perfect. Nobody is righteous. We are all in the making. And as Kernberg says, we all have erasers on the top of the pencils because we make mistakes and therefore we need to erase them. And we can erase and we can change them. Number three, self-acceptance, which means when I look at myself and I see my flaws and I recognize and I see growing up or growing spiritually coming from acknowledging who you are. It's okay not to judge myself, not to think I'm more or less, but letting go of self-criticism. Allow yourself to be the imperfect while striving to improve yourself. That's very important step. And again, it's also part of the tshuva that we do this month. And the fourth step is focus on connection. Instead of finding what's wrong with things, look for something that is more common. More compassion, more care, opening the heart. Again, if it's somebody that maybe I'm not supposed to be in touch with, maybe I don't need to be in touch, and have compassion to that fact that maybe, okay, our ways needs to go our ways, and that's fine, but do it with compassion, do it through connection, do it through realization, but not with judgment. To elevate means that when there's a difficulty or something that I think is wrong or that I judge, whatever feeling that comes to me, let's say hatred, let's say dislike. The truth is that dislike that I have is a cover for love or compassion underneath it. I don't see it. And therefore, I need to ask, okay, what does it come to teach me? What does it come to show me? How is it there to help me to have a greater connection to me and to my soul? Which means, so let's say I saw somebody doing something wrong, and I think it's wrong what they've done. Obviously, at that moment, I judge them and I put them down. Now, to elevate means that person is showing me something about me that I can do certain transformations. So is it that I'm too tough? I'm too strict? I'm too closed? I'm not sensitive enough? I'm not compassionate enough? There's something that that person show me that actually is helping, is there to help me to elevate myself. Again, not to agree necessarily with the other person. Maybe the other person is doing something wrong. That's fine. But my lack of sensitivity, my being too strict, my being too strong, that is where I came to elevate. That I can, I see what they do is wrong, but I have understanding, I have compassion. Okay, they do it because maybe they don't see another way. Maybe they are limited, and that's why they behave the way that they limit. To have that kind of compassion, and when I do that, I elevate my judgment into more compassion, into more love, but it doesn't mean I need to agree with them. Very fine line. Is that clear, this example? Beautiful. So it's all there for me to elevate, which has nothing to do with whatever is out there that could be right, could be wrong, but that's not the point. The point that it shows me something that need to be elevated, that need to practice more love and more compassion. So if I do that now and I do that preparation, what I'm doing now, I'm beginning to disconnect the forces of judgment of those angels that are there, as we said on Rosh Hashanah, to kind of judge me, to judge me with those judgments that I had. So what is the tool we use on Rosh Hashanah to actually blast those forces? That in Rosh Hashanah, there are 3 Kabbalistic tools to change the movie of the year to come and transform judgment. One of them is Teshuvah. We spoke about it last week and the week before. Tefillah, which is specifically the use of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. And Tzedakah, which is really a very powerful tool to change judgment and movie. So I want to focus for a moment on the power of the shofar. The power of the shofar. Shofar, the word shofar, has the same numeric value of the word takfu, means to attack. Attack what? Those forces of judgment that potentially can limit me in the year to come. And using the shofar in the right way, there's a certain system, certain sound, certain way. So, some of you know there are 4 sets of blowing that we do. Each blow corresponds to something else. We're not going to go through all things. You can find it in the classes, in the books. But using it in the right way, after I've done the work that we spoke about, then the shofar can work. Because if I'm doing the shofar without the tshuva and tzedakah, it's not going to work. I'm doing the tshuva without the shofar and tzedakah, not going to work. I'm doing the tzedakah without the shofar and the tshuva, not going to work. I need all the 3 of them. It's a package. So how the shofar works, that's what I want to show you from the Zohar, something so powerful. In the portion of Vayera, verse 381 and 382, it says, when judgment hovers over the world, the day of Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment. There's a judgment on the world based on action of mankind. That's why we see what we see in the world. By the way, all the negativity on the world has to do with the judgment the world has created. People have created. It's not somebody out there. Somebody out there is just the manifestation of the forces we have created. So in Rosh Hashanah, there is a judgment force that is hovering over the world. which is all under the name called Satan, or the opponent that we know. And it's there to prosecute. In other words, cause and effect. Prosecute means I've done a certain action, that will be the consequence in the year to come, cause and effect. Now, the children of Israel should be aroused by the shofar. In other words, there's an action we need to do on that day, which is the power of the shofar. For what purpose? To create a voice, which is also sound. What is that unique sound? Is a combination of water, which is the saliva, fire, which is the breath, and the wind, the air. In other words, you have water, fire, and wind within the blowing, which are what forces? Rav Ashag explained: Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet, which become one in that voice, in that sound, and sound that voice from within the shofar. In other words, when we blow the shofar, we awake what energy? We call it the central column, the energy of balance, the energy that removes judgment and create balance energy. Not only that, the Zohar continues as said, and this voice rises up to the throne of judgment. In other words, that sound, even though it's sound on the physical level, it goes in the upper world to a place called the throne of judgment. That's where all the forces of judgment that are collected based on mankind activity. What that voice does, it strikes it and rises further. It's like a laser beam. It's like the anti-missile. Today we see a lot in the news about the missile and the anti-missile. There's a very powerful anti-missile, which is the shofar. It's like an anti-missile. It's like a Star Wars, Robert called it, in the metaphysical level that we don't see. In our life, there are many missiles that are supposed to head our way based on action we have done, not only in the last year, but even lifetime before. So the power of the shofar is to kind of blast those, as long as we did the work in the month of Virgo and the other tools that we spoke about. Now, it is established and appears from below. In other words, there's an action from below, which is the blowing in the shofar, and another appears from above. In other words, the Zohar says in another place, another shofar is awakened, which is a metaphysical shofar in the upper world. So the world, which is Malchut, our world, is established and mercy prevails. In other words, what's happening? And we now transform or wake mercy with the use of the shofar and the work that we have done before. And the Zohar continues, now the prosecutor, remember that the prosecutor has a permission to prosecute based on cause and effect, but what's happening now after you blow the shofar? It becomes confused because he thought that by executing judgment, he would punish the world. Punish, again, there's no such a thing as punishment, but we call it cause and effect. Cause and effect is not punishment. If you put the finger in the socket, can you say you are punished? No. Or can you blame electricity? No. You just did something which is not right. So you get the consequence. But when he realizes that mercy was aroused, how mercy was aroused through the shofar, he's perplexed. His strength fails and is unable to do anything. How powerful the shofar is. Then the Holy One, blessed be He, judges the world with mercy. Again, there's no such a thing, judgment or mercy from the Creator. It's from our point of view, mercy or judgment based on what we create. You may say that judgment has been executed, but it is not so. Judgment and mercy are joined, and the world is judged mercifully. So, there's a whole class about the power of the shofar. I just wanted to give you the taste of how powerful this tool is. How many people got inspired just about knowing about the power of the use of the shofar? Absolutely. It's a very powerful technology that we use, which is really we underestimate. Rob Berg once said it's a 50th century technology that's beyond our mind, beyond our logic, beyond the five senses, totally in the metaphysical world. Now, what we would like to do, in order to prepare for Rosh Hashanah and be able that the shofar will work for us. Again, the shofar will work for us only if we begin to release those forces of judgment, because if I still hold on to judgment, the shofar is not going to help me. We're going to do a short meditation. We're going to use one of the names of the 72 names of God, which is Yud Lamed Hey, from right to left, which is sweetening judgment. Okay? And just relax, let go. We're going to do kind of a short visualization. And after that, I'm going to give you some time in the breakout room to reflect and share with each other. Okay? So please uncross your legs and arms. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more time, a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just allow yourself to relax, be at the present moment. Focus on your head. Release the tension, the muscles in your forehead, in your eyes, in your neck, in your shoulders, your back, your arms, your body, down to your legs, your feet. Just relax. And just take another deep breath in and a deep breath out and relax and be present. As we go through this short visualization to help us release judgment, as we come closer to the day of judgment, to Rosh Hashanah, and we want to make sure that the power of the shofar and the technology that we use will work for us to change the movie in the year to come. And just bring attention to your thoughts. Take yourself back in time to notice of any situation that awakened judgment, either about yourself or others. What are the specific thoughts that you experience during those moments? Just observe. It's not about judging yourself, but it's observing yourself. Because those thoughts of judgment are the forces that may limit me in the year to come. So I want just to acknowledge these thoughts without judgment. Simply observe them. Simply see how they make you feel. What sensations they awake within you, in your body. Just observe. And with every deep breath that you take, and every exhale that you take, release the weight of judgment. Allow yourself to create more space for awareness, understanding, and compassion. Now, focus on someone you may have judged recently. See them in your mind. What struggles might they be facing? Think about their background, their experiences, their circumstance, and the challenge that they go through. Allow yourself to feel compassion for them. Remind yourself that we all have imperfections and challenges. As you breathe in, allow empathy into your hearts. As you breathe in, allow more love and compassion to your heart. And as you breathe out, release any harsh thoughts you may have held against them. Now, turn your attention to yourselves inside. Look at your own imperfection. What are you struggling to accept? Just as you look at those things, when you breathe in, create a room in your heart for acceptance and understanding. And with each exhale, let go of self-criticism and the need to be perfect. Realize that growth comes when you acknowledge that wherever you are right now is exact. Allow yourself to be imperfect and recognize and see that this is part of your journey of growth. And finally, see in your mind connection between yourself and those that you have judged. Try to find a common space with understanding and compassion. Try to see something that unites you. Shared experiences, emotions, challenges, whatever that may be. As you breathe in deep, open your hearts for more love and connection. Allow compassion over judgment, acceptance over judgment. And as I count now from 1 to 3, when I reach 3, you'll be able to open your eyes and come back to the here and now. 1, 2, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And 3, you can open your eyes and come back. Beautiful. How many people feel a little bit less judgmental? Okay. How many people feel a little bit more compassion from the universe? Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So what I would like to do right now, we're going to go to a breakout room to speak a bit, to share a bit. And I would like you to share the following question. Number 1, what specific thoughts or feelings arise when you find yourself judging others or yourself? Reflect on the underlying insecurity or beliefs that might be driving these judgments. How can acknowledging these feelings lead to greater self-acceptance? As Monica said, there is a gift or opportunity to elevate within every thought we have, including the judgmental thoughts. And then how can you practice self-acceptance in areas where you feel inadequate or critical of yourself? Identify specific aspect of yourself that you struggle to accept. What steps can you take to embrace these parts of yourself with compassion and kindness? Just making a bit of an effort in these 2 questions already, we release the forces of judgment that then when we come to Rosh Hashanah, the shofar can work for us and can do the work that we saw in the Zohar. So I'm going to give you like 10 minutes to share with each other, and I'll put you into a breakout rooms. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Any good realizations? Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's the work. That's the work. We got another week to do this kind of work, and it's, we can maybe team together with each other, be partner with each other, talk with each other. Very, very important this time to take it, as we are exactly 1 week from today to Rosh Hashanah. So it's important that we continue to do that, again, with inspiration. It's not about seeing what's bad, it's about what's seeing good. And if I just saw what's bad, it means I can elevate it and begin to see what's good. If for example, somebody is very obsessed about how they are not good about something, maybe it's about time to be obsessed about how good you are. That's what it means to elevate something. Elevate means that how can I transform it to the other side of the coin, which I didn't do so far. And that's my choice. That's my work. And that's what will allow me to release the judgment. And then when I come to Rosh Hashanah, then the power of the shofar, the power of the connection, all that's what will allow to work. If you are unable to join us in person for Rosh Hashanah, you can actually connect to this powerful energy from the comfort of your home. So those of you that cannot come physically in person to Rosh Hashanah, you can actually register on a pay what you can basis. Just to let you know, thanks to the generosity of our students that are actually, they created a fund to allow those of you that cannot afford or cannot make it, that you'll be able to participate. So we really want to give a big round of applause for them, because thanks to them, we are able to host many students that cannot afford. So it is on a pay what you can basis. And just let you know that if you participate on the stream connection, these are the things you're going to get throughout all Rosh Hashanah, which include the nullification of the vows in connection with Michael Berg, which explain what that is. It's another powerful thing that we do just before Rosh Hashanah. As well, we're going to have a live Spiritually Hungry question and answer with Michael and Monica Berg in Rosh Hashanah. As well, a very powerful and special Kabbalistic astrology focus for the new year, and specifically on the dramatic events that are coming up in November. Tune in to know. Inspiring keynotes and lectures from Michael Berg and Monica Berg. They're going to give us amazing and powerful lectures throughout the whole connections, which is 3-day connection, real-time insights, secrets, and consciousness to the connection from our range of instructors. In other words, all the connections, all the prayer will be guided by our teachers, so you won't get lost. You know what's happening, and it will be led. There will be a powerful Torah reading and blowing of the shofar with Michael Berg. That's the main thing of Rosh Hashanah. As we mentioned, the power of the shofar and the fact that you're doing through Zoom and you're making the connection, that's powerful. Guided meditation to channel the energy of the holiday. We're going to have before every blowing of the shofar, there will be a special meditation, usually guided by Monica Berg. Powerful first night food connection. Okay, those of you, once you scan the QR code, so on the night of the first night of Rosh Hashanah, there's a special food connection that we do. You can find it in the QR code once you scan it. So if you want yourself to prepare it in your home, to have it together on the online streaming, you can do it yourself. So pay attention to that. And as well, we're going to have the Shabbat connection, Friday evening, Saturday, including Torah reading and shofar blowing and lecture. So these are all part of this amazing kind of big weekend event, which start next Wednesday night into Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday. So it's a whole happening. So this is for today, my friends.